DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am live. I don't know. I tried to schedule it for 3. YouTube's tripping. Thanks, YouTube. I said it for like 3 o'clock an hour ago, and I look back at it. It's like the 9th. I don't know. Something's going on with their server or something another. I don't know. But anyway, I will let you guys, give you guys time to join the show. Bars. Listen, let's talk about some boxing. It is 3 p.m. The chat is here. So I want you all guys to all grow near so we can talk about some boxing for today. You know, of course, we have, the AJ fight or the AJ Huey call out. I think Huey, AJ, pretty good fight. Pretty good fight. I think that, AJ, having a fight like that, it's a good tune-up fight, to say the least, I think that overall, Huey Fury is a good opponent for all of these guys. So, okay, where does this dog is like huge. Huh. But anyway, how we doing, peeps? Waiting for you guys to come in. 3 p.m. boxing talk. Hope you guys have enjoyed the videos. I've been pegging them out since I've got up. And we have to talk about some boxing. I want to start with Mauricio Sulaiman and Dimitri Bivol. And it just shows you, though, the balls on Mauricio with the stuff that he decides to do. You know what I mean? A lot of times, you have Mauricio coming in with, with all these different decisions, and it makes you wonder, like, what feeds these decisions? Money. Strangeness. Hey, Kurt, good to see you. Appreciate your strangeness in the building. First comment on the live stream. First of all, guys, I want to apologize. I want to apologize on the behalf of the technical error. It's no fault of my own, okay? I set this live stream for 3 p.m. today. And when I came back in to see, it was for tomorrow at 12 noon. I'm like, I did not click that. So I don't know. Something's going on with the software. And I don't know. Maybe it's the phone. I don't know. But I don't think so. I don't think it's the phone. I think it's something else, right? But no, you have to ask yourself about Mauricio Sulaiman, man. Mauricio is a guy that's really, I think, tripping. I think he's tripping. I think, people, look at Mauricio Sulaiman and sanctioning bodies like the WBC is the reason why people want a boxing league. Even though the boxing league, I think, is due, but it's a reason why people would want boxing leagues, because of, Mauricio. You guys, if you guys don't know what Mauricio's done, Mauricio Sulaiman has jumped out of turn. Technology for you. I've been liking what Miller has been doing. I think he's going to lose to Fabio, but I'm hoping he wins. Me too. We'll talk about that here in a few. Okay. Mauricio has, without warning, has just jumped in front of the IBF's turn for the undisputed champion. We all know that Dimitri Bivol beat Artur Beterbiev and became the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world, right? So when you do that, you have to satisfy your mandatories. But what happens is each mandatory slot is available in cycles. Okay, so when Dimitri won, it wasn't the WBC's turn, it was the IBF's turn. Okay, so it was the IBF, then it was another belt after the IBF. For whatever reason, Mauricio Sulaiman has decided to say, hey, let me skip in front of the IBF and demand, hey, we wanted a mandatory, and he's David Benavidez. Now, don't get me wrong. I would like to say or see David Benavidez, and I would like to see him fight him. Yeah, dude, go away. But anyway, I would like to see him fight him. But at the same time, if he's not the turn to fight, why are you making him fight? You know, Suleiman and Wilder freaked up Dillian White's career. Well, yeah, yes, and then no. Wilder actually messed up or really took part in that. Mauricio Suleiman just kind of allowed it. You know, Wilder could have fought Dillian White without Mauricio. Mauricio just decided to protect him. So I don't think it was necessarily Wilder. I mean, you know, they both took parts in it. Wilder just thought he was better than everybody. He thought he was better than people. You know, based on the bullshit fights that he fought, you know, he's like, well, kings fight kings. Well, Spilka wasn't a king. You know, Molina wasn't a king. Brazil wasn't a king. Those guys weren't kings. And Brazil was actually the dude that replaced Dillian White, because Dillian White kept talking and voicing his opinion on Mauricio, and what Mauricio did, he threatened him pretty much. And he threw Dominique Brazil in there. He made some kind of little shady ass deal with Brazil. If Brazil fought this dude, he can become mandatory, but then you got an interim champion, just like I get Caballero is right now. You see what I mean? So yeah, man, I feel like a dumbass. Still hoping we'll see Wilder versus AJ, White, AJ versus Fury. Let me tell you something. I don't care to see something that's already happened. I'm going to tell you why. Okay? I'm going to tell you why. For one, AJ and White, they've already fought. You know, so we've seen that. And this wasn't a Dillian White that was a bad Dillian White or an old Dillian White or a damaged Dillian White. This Dillian White was actually game. He actually hurt AJ in that fight. You know, at the O2, they sold out the arena. AJ and Dillian White were two undefeated fighters. And understand this, since they were two undefeated fighters, they had everything to win. They had everything to lose. Okay? So, Wilder versus AJ, I don't know if that fight will happen. I think it could happen. But Wilder has to start winning, and then hope. And AJ can't lose again. He can't lose again. You know, so I don't know. You know, I don't know if these fights can happen. All I really want to see is the best fight the best right now. Not the best fight the best back in the day, because they're not the best no more. Joshua's not the best no more. He wasn't the best then. He was the best for a while, for a couple years, you know. But we really never will know who is the best, because none of the people that claim to be the best, like the champions, fought each other. So we'll really never know. But at this point, it doesn't matter anyway, because they're not the best now anyway. Joshua's not the best now. He got beat through Dubois. We already know Dubois is not the best because he got beat by Usyk. Usyk beat both of them. You see what I mean? Usyk has more argument to be the best because he's beaten everybody in the ring. He hasn't had any hiccups. He hasn't had any situations where, oh man, he lost to that dude. You know? In my opinion, that's what I'm saying. I want to see guys who didn't fight yet. Well, I don't think that they have enough time. Strange in this, I don't think that they have enough time now. I think that ship has sailed, you know, because when they could have fought those fights, it's like almost like looking at an AJ versus Wilder fight now is like looking at a Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence. Like nobody would really care at this point because they both got beat, even though Keith Thurman, he's been really defeated by inactivity, not really anything else. He took his first L from the Congressman Manny Pacquiao. But other than that, I mean, you know, he knocked the guy out. He called out Tim Tszyu the other day. If you guys heard that, you know, he called out Tim Tszyu. Lil Fifth, my brother, how you doing, man? I'm doing pretty good, man. Beautiful day. You know, just reaching out to you guys. Been pegging out content. Been trying to make it happen. You know, YouTube's been tripping. They're always tripping these days. But I still, you know, keep on hustling and keep on pushing out content. I don't let it stop me. It does get kind of discouraging sometimes. Make sure to like and subscribe. Wardley, Miller, anyone. I want Miller to win. And let's talk about that. I want Miller to win to beat Fabio Wardley because I think Miller has more markability, and I want to see Miller versus AJ. Now, that's a fight I do think could happen based on a fight that almost happened. No, I'm not into women boxing, not really. You know something crazy? I used to really be into women's track. Women's track was cool. I am Latino. My wife is white. We had an Asian baby. Do I divorce or just forgive her and go on in life? Suave S. Well, I think first things first, sir. You need to get a DNA test, because if that baby comes out Asian and you are Latino, you know, or what type of Latino are you? Like, you have to know your own makeup. Maybe the baby's not Asian, he just looks Asian, and he's probably like, you know, a throwback from one of your ancestors or something that was Taino, or, you know, because you say Latino, I'm assuming, I don't know what that is. You know, Latino's a lot of things, but more than likely it's a mixture. Latino's a mixture of, you know, of some sort of Indian, you know, more than likely, you know, from like where, you know, like Cuba, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, it's Taino. So if like maybe, you know, the tight eyes comes from that, you have to find out if that child's yours or not, because what you don't want to do is raise a child and then, you know, you end up, you know, they end up finding your wife stuffed somewhere under in a shed somewhere. You don't want that. Just kindly, with love, divorce her and move on. If that's not your child. If it is your child, you need to owe her an apology. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, you don't know, man. I mean, this like genetics are something very, very, you know, very strange, and it makes you wonder though, just on that topic. People are gender crazy these days, and I find that so stupid to me, because what people should be arguing about is about race, because race is more of a spectrum than any other thing than ever a gender could be, because race is based on a lot of different plethoras of people, and what do people identify as, you know, like, hey, I'm 20% this, and I'm 30% that, and I'm 50% this, you know. Well, based on percentages, I don't look at it percentages, I just look at what I identify as. Okay, well, at least they got an argument because they have that percentage of blood in them. You know what I mean? Versus all this other shit. So we all mix with something. Exactly. So that's the spectrum versus, I think, the argument. So people are all protesting and shit over something that's stupider than gender. I'm like, you can't change that. I mean, you can attempt to, you know, painfully, and surgery, and, you know, and a lot of people, what they don't tell you is a lot of people that have those surgeries end up killing themselves, unaliving themselves, you know, and then that's one thing that they don't talk about. But anyway, yeah, back to boxing. I just wanted to counterpunch that real quick. I feel like I have some Mongolian DNA in there somewhere based on my facial features. Well, strange in this, if you had have you heard of the Mongolian spot info? If you had a Mongolian spot on your butt as you were old, when you were younger, you had some sort, like it was some sort of DNA linked back to Genghis Khan. Yeah, especially Asian babies, and it's crazy. My oldest daughter had a Mongolian spot on her buttocks. You know, so more than likely she's some kind of descendant from somewhere from Genghis Khan. Because, you know, Genghis Khan had a very, very big family. You know, we're all humans no matter what color you are from, or color, or where you're from. Absolutely. Absolutely, sir. No doubt about it. You know? But no, back to Jerrell Miller, man. Jerrell Miller,
I think, I think the big fight would be Joshua versus Jerrell Miller. Like the biggest fight that never happened was that fight. You know, Jerrell Miller changed history. Jerrell Miller changed the whole sway of the boxing world. I know Andy Ruiz was happy, but what did Andy accomplish? Andy Ruiz didn't accomplish jack shit after that fight. He didn't accomplish anything. He accomplished that, hey, I can be a one-hit wonder, and guess what? I got another shot at being a one-hit wonder, which was a no-hit wonder after that fight was over. He overate, he overindulged, he didn't train. So he showed you who he was. He showed you how much desire he had for the sport. Andy Ruiz showed you why you shouldn't give certain people certain opportunities, because all they're going to do is fuck it up. That's what Andy showed us. And no disrespect to Andy. I just think Andy just did all he was going to do, but he just showed who he was, because he hasn't really done anything since. And he's fought Jerrell Miller and fought to a draw with Miller. And I think with Jerrell Miller, though, Jerrell Miller, if he would have beat Anthony Joshua, he would have been a lot bigger. He would have done a lot more than Andy Ruiz did. I just think so. I just think he's just more of a self-promoting fighter. You know what I mean? Yeah, he eats cheeseburgers, and, those guys are big eaters. I get it. But at the same day, Jerrell Miller, being a heavyweight champion, if he would have beat Anthony Joshua, don't you guys understand? Every belt would have been back in the States. See, they didn't look at that with Andy because Andy was cross-referenced with Mexico, even though he was an American. He fought on the Mexican team, though. So there you go. And I think, he had more lineage to Mexico than he did America. But with Jerrell Miller being American from Brooklyn, if he would have beat Anthony Joshua, because Anthony Joshua did have, in fact, some type of damage, some type of injury. And I think it was a concussion, because everybody said it was a concussion. It wasn't just like everyone saying or made this up. It wasn't a Joshua fans making up. No, this was already confirmed by Serafina. Serafina had already relayed this to Jerrell Miller, and this was before Jerrell Miller even got popped for the PED thing. Okay, they knew, hey, Joey DeWaco or someone, Joey DeWaco, Agit Caballo, one of those guys injured Joshua. They injured him, knocked him out, dropped him or whatever in sparring, and what ended up happening, he ended up injured. I think it was in Florida when he flew to Florida to continue his training. Is Miller looking to get the AJ fight if he beats Fabio? I think it's possible. It is possible. If he beats Fabio Wardley just separated Frazier's jaw, and Frazier was high on the totem pole. And the fight was so good they had to run it back, and he settled the score. So, yeah, he's got his stripes. So if Jerrell Miller comes along with this big name, with this big promotional backing and his ability, and he beats it, he actually pulls it off. He's not just like a black Chael Sonnen, because, that's what people are reminding me. That's what he reminds me of. Because Chael Sonnen is one of those guys, he was a good fighter, but he talked more shit than the law allow. But then, he really didn't ever really close the deal with these fighters. He came this close, in fighting Anderson Silva and stuff like that, but he never really did that. But he could self-promote out this world. Okay? Skrilla 50 in the building. Counterpunch to you. Yeah. Nah. Shell was smart. He talked about everyone, not just his opponents. Miller is good at that too. Yeah. And I didn't even really mean to put this guy in. Who's this Sakara guy? I think I got rid of him and then he came back. I hate trolls, bro. I want trolls to come see me. Because a lot of people say a lot of shit online, and then when you run into them, you don't know them. Those little faceless accounts. Can't wait to see Triple D again. George 84, me neither. And then the good thing about Daniel Dubois, when he did beat Joshua, the only saving grace was he's ready to take on everybody else. So when the Parker fight was made, I'm like, man, that's what I'm talking about. Triple D's on a roll. You got Miller, then you got Hergovik, then you got Joshua, then now he's taking on Parker. He's taking on everybody. And then when he did that, I think he pissed a lot of people off because he broke his own streak. That was pretty much worse than any other thing when he broke his own streak. Miller is a better rapper than he is a fighter. Well, rap, I would like to see Miller in television, honestly, or in movies, because I think he can pull it off. He could be that drug dealer, and you know what I mean, because he already has that kind of persona, that brash persona. So, do you think David Adelaide should rematch Jamie TKV? Yeah, okay, let's talk about that, guys. TKV versus Adelaide. It was the referee's fault. The referee should have saw that being a foul. That was not a knockout. That was some bullshit in the making. I didn't cover it because I was tired and I was wasted, and I was tired and I was wasted. I think I've never been that bad. Well, no. The Dillian White versus Tyson Fury live was worse. That was worse. Mama Lou, counterpunch to you. What will you do if someone trolls in real life as they troll here in the chat? I mean, troll in real life is like you're at the gas station, you're at the grocery store, you're at the library, you're at a restaurant, you're at a grocery store. If someone says something in real life, it's anybody's world. That I would love to see, because at that point, what would you troll about? Would you walk by someone and would you say something shitty? Like, what's up, bitch? And then it's like, oh, okay. Then it's at anybody's world. Because at that point, you have to consider things in public places. Lil Fifth, let me give an example. You have to know it's different if someone says something on the street I'm on versus somewhere in a public place. Why? You got cameras at a public place. So if they see you beat the shit out of someone, or, and then it gets violent or more violent than physical, than lethal, then, you have evidence. You don't want that. Library, you don't want that. Cameras. Grocery store, cameras. Gas stations, cameras. So be careful, So, someone says something, if you can get out, because, you're more than likely going to be in your car. Car going to have your license plate. If you lay a dude out, or you hurt a dude, and that dude has to have medical attention, they're going to look back, hey, that's an assault. It would be best if you're in a place like that and someone attacks you. I think that's when you need to just stay there for the cops, or you in fact call the cops. That way you'll know, hey, you have a defense and you took the initiative to call the cops and say, hey, this dude attacked me, I defended myself, there he is. Maybe he needs an ambulance. Whip it out and helicopter it. Bozo the Clown. What the hell? Okay. Yep. Let's see here. What are your thoughts on the newest Kanye West interview? I haven't seen it. Kanye, I can't be responsible for what Kanye says, and I don't know if Kanye can. The reason why, because Kanye was exposed to mind-altering drugs, and I don't mean like LSD and shit like that, or coke, or no, I mean he's taken like antidepressants and like medication, pharmaceutical medication. It makes you suicidal, that makes you think. Yeah, he's Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Kanye West. Have you ever thought about making it pro? Yep, I have. And it's a thought. Only thought. So, you know. Huh. Okay. Yeah, dude, I just look young. I'm not young. I'm not young. I just, you know, try to take care of myself. Kanye needs Kanye West needs professional help. Yeah, he does. He needs therapist or something. I mean, for one, I think he needs detoxing. He might need something that, like, you know, something that's good for his brain. I think, you know, some brain. He needs some good detox. You know what I'm saying? He needs some good detox. Black don't crack. Brown stays around. Yeah. You know, a lot of people think, like, you know, hey, well, what'd you put on your beard? I don't put anything on my beard. It's just, you know, I don't have, you know, I don't have white hair like that. You know? Did you ever watch the leaks of the Dana new boxing organization? Well, I've seen the fight purses. They're atrocious. But you know what? As atrocious as they are, they're better than the UFC fight purses. These poor guys are fighting for like 10 grand and shit like that. Like, dude, what you gonna do with that money, man? $10,000? Shit, you might as well be a stunt man. If you fight, if you know what I mean? I'm gray already at 41. Yeah, a lot of people are. A lot of people are gray at shit mid-30s. Hell, late 20s sometimes. What's your nationality, Kurt? I'm American. Yo, just jumped on. What's the topic? And K West is effed in the head and always be the first to call feds. Then it's up to the other party if they want to go to the police station. I don't know. I haven't seen and heard what Kanye said. Usyk versus Alex will happen in new boxing Dana organization for marketing. Well, they have to do something because it ain't the fight purses that's going to bring fighters in. But like Oscar De La Hoya said it best, how in the hell are you going to do that without fighting? Jaya Pattaya versus Roy Jones Jr. A prime Roy Jones Jr. at 175 or cruiserweight. I don't know. I think Roy would beat him. Roy would beat Jaya Pattaya. Roy would probably beat everybody, bro. People don't understand. Roy was this solid. He was this solid. He was physically gifted. He was solid. He was physically gifted. He was physically athletic. He just did all, like, the things that Roy did, people don't do these days. You have to understand, Roy Jones Jr. did things that was unorthodox, but he made it work. And he was so athletically gifted that people couldn't do that. People wouldn't try that anyway, you know? Like, you know, he's trying to train people like Jamal Charlo to fight like him, Chris Eubank Jr. to fight like him. And it's like, no, you can't teach other people you can't teach other people a particular style that you were only so good at because you were that blessed, that athletically gifted. They don't have that athleticism. You can't make them get that athleticism. That's a Roy Jones Jr. thing, man. You can't have anyone like Chris Eubank. He's not a Roy Jones. Jermall Charlo, he's not a Roy Jones. And no disrespect to those fighters, they're just not Roy. And the thing is, Roy might have had beaten Usyk in cruiserweight. I would give Usyk a better chance just based on his overall style, because I seen what Joe Calzaghe did to a past his prime Roy. But we seen what Roy, I think Roy would have beat Calzaghe in his prime. I think so. But that being said, though, I also believe that, you know, Alexander Usyk, if anybody gave him a good fight, it would be Roy. I just think Roy had the power of like someone like David Haye. He was just better than David Haye. He was just better than those guys. He was just, the dude had the fighter of the decade. He was the fighter of the decade. You know, that's it. Should you have your own style? Yeah. I always wanted to see Roy Jones versus Chris Bird. Yeah, that would have been a good fight. It's just the only problem is Roy didn't stay at heavyweight that long. And see, I think that probably would have been best for him if he would have went to heavyweight and stayed at heavyweight. You know, like Usyk, he went to heavyweight and stayed there. But understand Roy Jones. Roy Jones was smaller than that. He started at 154. Roy started at 154, then the 160, 168, then the 175, 175, then the cruiserweight to the heavyweight division. And then he goes back to light heavyweight, which was stupid. But understand, people learn from mistakes that other people make. Roy had speed like a cat with accuracy. He did. There's just nobody better than that guy like that. You know what I mean? See, he had this athleticism about him that no one had. And see, understand, people with that type of athleticism, you know, guys like Floyd Mayweather looked up to guys like Roy, because Floyd, as good as Floyd is probably technically more gifted than probably anybody, right? You know, him and probably a handful of Cuban fighters are probably that technically gifted. But athletically, that athleticism was something that Roy had on a league of his own. Roy just had that. And then, see, even when Roy lost to Griffith, Montel Griffith, you know, conned his way a win by just not getting up, you know, and people knew, like, Roy, like, he had that one loss, but everyone knew that one loss didn't mean shit, because that one loss was BS. Kurt, Roy Jones Jr. versus David Tua. That's a dangerous fight. But see, if Roy would have stayed at heavyweight, if I was him, because he was going to fight Tyson at one point, and it never materialized. I think Roy asked for too much money, even though they ended up fighting, you know, about 5 years ago. You know, been seeing AJ get ready for a scrap. Wonder who he's fighting, because I have a feeling they've already got someone picked. Probably so. They just ain't going to tell you yet. I'm that dangerous. I was able to box. I'm too much of a killer. Roy turned Montel Griffin into Montel Williams in a rematch. Yeah, he did. I remember that fight, man. It only lasted half a round. Roy hit him with an uppercut. And the way, and like shit like that, you lunge and throw an uppercut at somebody. How unorthodox is that? You know, Kurt, what about Roy Jones Jr. versus Lennox Lewis? I don't know. I think Lennox is too big. Lennox would have to knock him out. But then again, see, everybody talks about what Lennox did. You know, oh, he beat Holyfield. Oh, he beat Tyson. You know, Bo ducked him. You know,
The Vitalik fight, he fought some guys. He fought Hasim Rahman a couple times and stuff like that. But understand something. Lennox Lewis, I never seen him in there with someone like a Chris Bird or Roy Jones. So I don't know. I don't know. Jerrell Miller versus Watford. Who wins? Probably Watford. I'm just messing, bro. I'm just on a hype one today. Been a good day. Chet Perry, Kurt, what was your most dangerous stunt? Did you have to go to stunt school? Nah, real stunt man school. Nah, man. You learn stunts from doing stunts. I mean, you practice with people that are stuntmen. You know, so you listen, you pay attention. But no, I didn't go to stunt school. What was my most dangerous stunt? I don't know. Because see, some stunts are dangerous and you don't really think they are. And it's not really the biggest things in stunts, it's the smaller things. It's the things that people overlook that's what get people hurt. Let me give you an example. I was in Monroe, Louisiana doing a show called Dancer and the Dame. Okay, it was 11 years ago. And it was like a buddy cop dog movie, right? And these buddy cops, like they had a dog, so it was a dog like Turner and Hooch. So I think that all it was, the dog jumps on the table. We're playing cards. I had a bandana on, a big beard, and then the dog he jumps on the table, and I go lounging back into like these boxes. Well, it just, it was nothing big. You just fall into the boxes and you fall down. Nothing hard about that. Well, something told me, dude, why don't you take the boxes off the crate? Because the boxes were on a crate. So something told me, dude, take them off the crate. I took them off the crate, and there, I kid you not, about 30 fucking nails like this. And that's where I would have landed. My back would have hit every one of those nails, and I'd probably been paralyzed. Those are the type of things that people don't tell you. And nobody really looked to see, well, there's nails under there. So, yeah. So, I mean, I would have landed on that, probably punctured a lung, probably ripped a kidney, probably damaged my spine. Probably, yeah, because I mean, the nails were all like stuck up because someone, I don't know what the hell that was about. But I'm thinking to myself, like, if you knew, why the hell would anybody put some in? Because they're all empty boxes. So why would you put empty boxes on a crate full of nails that are stuck up? And they were big size nails, too. They were like this long. They weren't little smaller ones. These were long ass nails. The film The Crow, he did really get killed by a real bullet when standing on the end of the table, if you remember the film and know what I'm talking about. Of course, that's everybody's Dark Cloud. Brandon Lee, in 1994 it was released, but this was in 93. I think it was in Wilmington, North Carolina, people, where they filmed the damn movie. Where Brandon Lee, he got shot with a bullet because at the time the gun specialist wasn't on set. I don't know why the hell he wasn't on set, but he wasn't on set. So since he wasn't on set, they rushed because they were trying to get it done. I guess they were trying to get that day wrapped up, because what happens is when you have a long day, the films are rolling, the money's turning, and people have to get paid, and the overtime is turning as well. So they're trying to get everything wrapped up to stop from paying every damn body. Right? So they rushed it along. They didn't check the gun. The bullets in the gun had enough gunpowder in it because it wasn't checked. And it shot Brandon Lee, the son of Bruce Lee, the legendary son of fucking Bruce Lee, got killed. That's what happened. Blew a hole through him the size of a silver dollar. That's what happened, people. Those things happen when you rush
and you don't take things because let's say that could have happened to me. Hey, no time. Hey, we got to get rolling. Then I had no time to check that box or to check that crate that where those boxes were sitting on, because the boxes were about this high and they're this high off the ground, and I'm supposed to just fall into these boxes. I don't know if I didn't even have a gator back because I didn't need one. And I had a tank top on. So it's kind of hard to hide a gator strap under tank tops. So yeah. Any tips to increase weight? Yep, starches. Starches, less cardio. Was it 6 foot inch nails? Both you guys are stupid. 6 foot inch nails all in my back. Yeah. 6 foot inch nails. Yep. That's some Alabama shit there, boy. I tell you. Alabama. Yep, great minds. Yep. Tony Lyons and Skrilla 50 gonna be somewhere. I'm gonna join y'all for drinks. Yep. That's part of my army. That's a counterpunch boxing news army. We just try. What's up with them dudes? Them boxing dudes, you know? Be walking and shit. I do it for my homies, but I do it by my loan. Okay. Love each other. Counterpunch to you. All right. All right. Yeah. Yep. Your opinion of Dagestani UFC fighters, Khabib, Islam, etc. Don't know enough about them. I know Nurmagomedov. Yeah. I think he retired, right? I mean, he was okay. I mean, I don't know why he reminds me better Biev, you know? Don't hold your poop. Go to the toilet. Yep. Kurt, have you knocked out someone? Oh, hell yeah. I knocked out a bunch of people. Yeah. Yep. Sure have. This channel is like big family. That's why I only rock with this channel. Tony Lyons in the building. Counterpunch to you. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Don't worry. I mean, it's still growing. So it's not like the channel's not growing. I think YouTube just needs to, you know, change some things. I mean, for the better. Because, you know, a few years ago, you know, this is easily 200, 300 people just chilling. We're just chilling, you know, and it's not the content because it's the same thing. So, you know, Kurt, who wins? Jaya Bataya versus Chris Bird? I don't know, because Chris Bird is Chris Bird's a sneaky fighter, man. And I think Chris Bird should have been fighting in a lower weight class anyway. You know, he came out about 5 years ago saying that I'm going to return to the sport. I'm like, dude, sit down. Just sit down. You know? Mother Nature's calling. Okay. Yeah, that's a story I heard. Yeah, man, but people learned a lot about gun control and having someone that's a gun specialist, you know, on set. You know, it's a certain protocol you must do to ensure that everybody's safe. You know, hey, it's happened before. It's happened after that. It's happened after that. Alec Baldwin, bro, killed somebody, and he was anti-guns. So, you know, a lot of people thought that was hilarious that Alec Baldwin killed somebody with a machine gun on set, and he was anti-guns. Yeah. You okay, Kurt? Liverpool, UK in the house. Mike Nixon in the building. Yeah, I'm good, man. I feel good. It's a beautiful day, man. You know, pollen sucks, but I mean, it ain't as bad. But yeah, man, I think Jerrell Miller, man, I hope he wins. You know, I hope it's a good fight. I hope it's a knockout. You know, because I think Fabio Wardley's stepping up. So if he loses, it won't be like too bad, you know, losing to Miller. But Fabio's a good fighter, though. And Fabio's mobile. You know? Kurt, do you have or want any pets? Man, I had a little my last pet was a family pet, man. And it was really heartbreaking too, man. His name was Bentley. He got ran over in Shreveport. So I bought it from my cousin. We all did a family trip. We flew to Kansas City to pick up this dog for like $2,000. Like a little show dog, a Shih Tzu Bison Frisier mix. You know, but they're already trained. They're already, you know, yeah. But he spent most of the time with me. I did a YouTube video on him one time, so I think you guys, you know, have to check out the members only. I had it, yeah. I introduced him on members only. So, but yeah, that was the last one I had. So I'm kind of weary of getting another pet, bro. You know, you know. So I don't know. He said, never trust a man with a beard with no mustache. Well, tell that to the whole Muslim society. Yep, I remember Bentley. Yeah, man, he got hit, bro. I was down there, threw up. I was driving. I was just bragging on him. Man, I got a new dog, man. Little dog, cool. You know, because he used to hang out with me all the time. You know? Kurt, Jerrell Miller versus Martin McCauley. I don't think Jerrell Miller wants that. He said he didn't. Oh, it's my brother. I'm thinking to myself, like, now he's your brother? Now you just seen him beat the shit out of that other baby, big baby. That's probably why you don't want to get none of that either. Because, you know, that's, you know, the way Jerrell Miller eats punches. No. It's crazy. Or are you going to Khabib house? Nope. Don't come on this channel and talk stupid. Mama Lou, tell him. These guys be talking, man. You guys got to look at these comments. When they say a little ill foul, silly stuff like that, you know? Car, so what happened to your dog? Yeah, I know, man. That sucked. That sucked, bro. And I'm really angry about it too, because it was carelessness, you know? She left the door open and he ran out in the street and got hit. And I'm like, well, who the fuck was watching the door? You know, so, yeah, you know, so I'm still mad about that. You know, really, I'm really pissed off about that. So it kind of takes me, I really kind of back up from stuff and just stop thinking about it. Kurt, hey, what is that? Is that a big, God, look at the size of that bird. I just seen like a shadow come across. Rash her riff. Hey, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Usyk undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Yep. A newborn baby foal can kick harder than Miller's punches. Mr. 300-pound Haney. No. I wouldn't want to get hit by that 300-pound Haney. You say that, you know. Yeah, he's a pretty big dude. You know. Bill Keaveney in the building. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Bill Keaveney. I'm praying Miller bust up. Fabio gonna go there and watch it. That's nice. That's gonna be a good fight, bro. I might see that my damn self. I think what's it in June 7th. You know, it sucks though, because we supposed to be working on The Lioness season 3 right now, so they pushed it back. So it's bad, because if you got other things you want to do with your life, you can't really get them done. Because my whole thing is, when I'm finished with The Lioness, I'm going back to the Caribbean. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. All right, cool. So, yeah, I got to charge this phone. Miller is the best at the build-up. He is the best at the build-up. Kurt, Evander Holyfield versus Ika Barabucci, prime for prime. I don't know. I think it would be a straight-up war, though. Because, you know, Evander's not going anywhere. Bill Keevan, he just for him to be too pump chump of the fight. Okay. 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 Fight sport talk in the building. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. It's Grilla. He knows his role. Kurt Muhammad Ali versus Ika Barabucci. I don't know. I think Muhammad would get him. Just the experience of fighting guys like that. And keep in mind, Muhammad Ali is a guy that he fought 15 rounds. You know, I think it's unfair for anybody that fought 15 rounds or more. You can compare him to somebody that fought 12 because they fight different. They fight different for different reasons and different pace for different because of different longevities of fights. Whereas you know if it's in round 8, you know you got half that fight left versus round 8, you only have in rounds 9, 10, 11, and 12, right? Or are you still concerned about Miller and kind of. I mean, that would be the worst thing to happen because it's like at that point you have to throw the book at Jerrell Miller. If he tests positive again, that means he has a problem. That means he feels mentally that he cannot function without drugs. And it's a lot of people that suffer mentally like that because I tell people any drug affects the way your mind and body works. But I think when people look at performance enhancing drugs, they just think it's all about your physical, but it's also about your mental as well. Because mentally, you're taking performance enhancing drugs, you're taking them to do what? You're taking them for better performance. But what happens when you take something mentally, you taking something thinking this is going to help me. So it's also a mental thing as well. Hell, it could be a placebo for all we know. But at the same time, if you think it's helping you, then therefore it's helping you. You know? So you're doing more thinking you got more than you really have. You got about the same. Right? Yeah, appreciate you, man. Yeah, I got this actually from Dublin. This is from Dublin, Ireland, man. The last time I was out that way. If Miller popped again, he would be finished. Yeah, I mean, there's nobody would touch him because remember, he had people coming to his rescue even after the Joshua thing. And he was coming back, he was talking good, he was doing his thing, he was promoting, and then boom, he tests positive for I forget what it is now, but it's supposed to have been something for his DICK performance. But it's crazy. Never forget that Miller blamed the failed drug test on. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. You know, so it is what it is. Ali over everybody. One reason why I want Miller to win is because he's good for boxing. I got fed up with that softly spoken shit at a press conference, and Miller brings it. Fabio, he's boring. Yeah, I think Limp Biscuit Miller. I think what people need to understand about Miller is he brings excitement, that build up. You want to see these press conferences. You want a chair or something thrown at somebody shoved, somebody, you know what I mean? You want a mini riot to happen. That's what you want to see. Because I don't know if you guys, I don't know, some of you guys are not as old as I am, some of you are. But what do you think besides the fights in the 90s? What do you think made these fights? The build up. Like we had Riddick Bowe, two-piecing a guy. Bat, bat. We had Mike Tyson, telling somebody what he needs to do and, charging at Lennox Lewis. And we had these fights that not only were they good fights, they were also well promoted fights. We had Don King promoting these fights. We had Bob Arum, supporting and promoting these fights. So, we had good stuff in the 90s. And I think anybody
that, Miller reminds me of a throwback 90s fighter, the way he promotes. Somebody will give him a chance. Boxing is dirty. Jerrell P.E.D. Miller. That's why I wanted AJ and Miller. I think a lot of people want that fight. It's just I don't understand why Joshua feels he's just better than people, why he shouldn't. Because the last two people that he's either fought or tried to fight tested positive, but he tried to fight them. So there's no reason for you to look at Jerrell Miller any different. You know what I'm saying? Based on something he attempted to do. So did Dillian White. Dillian White had the same issue or situation, right? And Hellenius popped dirty, and he already fought him. But who was Melenius? Melenius was a mere tune-up. So there you go. So like I don't see why AJ would have that type of dislike towards Jerrell Miller, but then fight someone else that popped dirty too. Don't write that fight of bro with AJ and Miller. Don't write that fight of bro with a. Okay. Gaylord Robinson. Hey, dude. Counterpunch to you. A lot of people pissed that Miller got a chance again, but it's because he sells fights, and the others who should be getting a shot, they don't make no noise. That's right. You think if Caballero was like Jerrell, you think he would be where he's at? No. He would be an absolute money making, tree chopping person of interest. And he's won every fight. He's never been defeated. But why do people talk more about Jerrell Miller than I get Caballero in most situations? Because Jerrell Miller knows how to open his mouth. Counterpunch. You should grow a larger beard than you look like a fundamentalist. No, I'm good. I'm good. These boxers are lucky I have to pay bills or they would be in deep. Shh. Okay. Don't write that fight off. You're making me doubt my spelling. Oh. Don't write that fight. Okay, well, you said that fight of. Not off. Don't write that fight off. Of. Don't write that fight of. I'm like, of. What? I'm good, Gaylord. Everything is good here. But yeah, man. But yeah, I think Jerrell Miller. I hope Jerrell Miller wins. I have some more about Jerrell Miller here in a second, but I'm about to jump in my car, go to the gym, get my workout in, then go to the wellness center, buy some more stuff, chill out, come back, eat. Stay tuned for more videos coming at you. You guys have been great. Of course, please subscribe, and everyone has been counterpunched. Peace.